Yo, what's good everybody? 𝐒𝐿𝐵𝐵𝐴 with NBA 2K Film Room here to bring you everything you need to know about big man gameplay in NBA 2K26. A big thank you to NBA 2K for flying us out to San Fran so we can be able to test the game early at Community Day. Also a big shout out to my guys Laker Fan and 𝐒𝐿𝐵𝐵𝐴 Gaming for allowing me to use some of their big man footage that they captured during Community Day. You can check out their channels and all the content they've been dropping in the links below. Look, I'm gonna be completely honest. There are a lot of things to be excited about. There are also a few things we definitely have to monitor closely as we get more time on the game. I'm gonna do my best to break down everything I had the chance to check out myself, but also, look, I'm human. It's only a few hours that we have to be able to play this game, so there might be a few things I miss or might not know well enough. And if so, I'll be sure to link another creator who might have more information so you could be properly informed. The first thing I'll start off mentioning is movement as a big. It's by far better than what it was on 2K25. It felt smooth, and it felt like I had way more control when controlling my player. Not only did I feel like I was able to change directions a whole lot easier without much penalty, I felt faster overall when playing on a big, just due to the increased game speed. I know last year, especially once you got on footers and certain things like that, you just felt slow the entire time. Your team is speeding up the floor trying to score, and you're not even down the court. You just feel a lot more comfortable here. Like, you feel that you can actually be a threat, make moves, do little things, as you can kind of see with some of the gameplay footage. All right, so let's get into the fun stuff. We'll start with offense and shooting. Truthfully, it's hard to tell what shooting is really like as a big this year due to the jumpers that we had to use. Players like Jokic and Wemby, their shots were extremely slow. And while you could probably green with them with rhythm shooting, you definitely need to practice, or if you have the ability, create a jumper that works best for you. Because I mean, man, I was not able to, I don't think I hit 1-3 on my big. But granted, I'm kind of ass when it comes to it, right? Having to play with an NBA jumper, it's a little bit of struggle, but you are all better than me. I'm here to bestow the IQ, help you all out with that, and like, we're gonna keep you all running. I think rhythm shooting, again, is gonna feel like it's gonna be the way to shoot for bigs this year. While the button's still a viable option, the control you have to time your shot this year with rhythm shooting will be a big's best friend. And don't get me wrong, like, you can still be able to green with the button, especially if you like to shoot meter on compared to meter off. I felt like shooting with the button with the meter on was a lot easier for me compared to shooting with it off. I felt like rhythm shooting was a lot easier when it came to that. But the biggest thing is, especially when it comes to lower difficulties or non-competitive levels, you only have to green the tempo. And when it comes to non-competitive levels, that makes this even more OP is the fact that you only have to green the tempo, which is insane. Like, the fact that you only have to green one of them, it just makes this even more disgusting. But overall, I really have to admit, it didn't feel like any shot I took wasn't a shot that you couldn't green. It really is green or miss. I felt that, okay, with practice, I definitely can be able to green this. So I think shooting is going to be, honestly, a W this year. All right, let's get into the next one. Dunking, I think, is very solid. I think that when it comes to just hitting a slip, driving dunks, stuff like that, I feel that it was pretty easy, especially if you're able to get a little bit of separation from your defender. You're just able to yam it home. Granted, of course, like, there are going to be certain animations that are brutal, like if you get a back scratch or something like that, somebody might be able to chase you down. But for the most part, if I'm ahead, I'm able to just dunk it home without much issue. Granted, if I'm trying to dunk on somebody, unless I have truly a high driving dunk and they might be a baby down there, or they're not jumped at the right time, I'm most likely getting contested. So of course, it's something I just want to be able to take my time with. For bigs, like, unless you're gonna go with something like a 99 drive dunk, which, like, we gotta even see is possible in the first place, we're probably not going to rely too much on driving dunk compared to what we're going to do with standing dunk. And that kind of brings into our next point. The standing meter dunks they're kind of smooth. They're not as overpowered as they were in 24, but they're not as weak as they were in 25. Like, I felt that it was very easy to be able to time a meter dunk, time of contact, especially if there was a baby in the paint, something like that. I'm able to definitely be able to just go up, time a meter. What gets a little tricky is when you have somebody in the paint, or maybe people surrounding you. You can't force this shot because the meter is kind of quick at times, so you could blow dunks. Like, I'm just gonna be completely real. So if it's your guard watching this for your big, or if you're a big, I'm warning you now. don't try and force it. Just take your time, reset, bring it back out. It'll just be a lot easier, because like people can kind of just be like close-ish in the vicinity, and you can wind up mistiming the meter. It might just make your meter shift a little bit. If they're not in great position, you have better strength, or you get that sort of like shoulder push animation when under the basket, which is still back this year. You can kind of push them out of the way for that standing contact dunk. Pretty much it gives another weapon to bigs, which I think is great, having that kind of standing dunk. But all right, I'm gonna get to what most people are probably here for, and that is the post scoring. I'm not gonna lie, y'all. Yo, post scoring might be back for this one. It was getting a little scary. I'm just gonna be completely honest. Badges like post spin technician, they're gonna abuse players with that shoulder drop animation. If you're a defender or somebody guarding it, they're gonna have to need strength. They're definitely gonna need post lockdown. Having a smaller build that might not have post lockdown compared to having a bigger build that has it on there, you see the difference in what the big is able to do, and like the sort of movements that you're able to do in the post moves will be very broken. You'll probably have people complaining and like really yelling about a patch. I really don't put it past anybody. Also, hooks, like hook shots, close shots, like a lot of post moves were also very easy to shoot. What's also great about it is that the meter was also pretty large, so it made it easy to time, and you could kind of also like tech it, so you could pretty much like edge it right at the beginning of the green window so that your opponent's not really able to contest it, which is going to make it even harder, especially due to the contest system where you're going to have to try and jump. And the fact that as a big, we are taller, they're going to have to be able to cover more distance. It's going to be a lot harder for them to be able to truly contest that. And it's only going to get worse when I tell you about this. Yo, post go-to shots, they really might be broken. I'm just going to be completely real. Especially Wemby's. He pretty much like runs away, like he does this like animation, and it's almost impossible to stop. And what's crazy about these post go-to shots is that they can also be canceled out of as long as the ball is not put on the floor. So people like Kyrie and LaMelo, those are two good ones. Kyrie kind of has that sham god. LaMelo's more of a hesitation step back. Those are great ones that you can be able to cancel out of. Brunson with that kind of post spin running hook that you kind of saw in like the trailer or like the other gameplay videos, it's also very effective, but he kind of puts the ball on the ground, so you can't really cancel out of that one. We really have a chance to be able to go through all of them. That's going to be a really fun one to watch, is just going through all of the different post go-to shots and seeing what they are. But so far, some of them are looking pretty glitchy, and it's bringing back post game. I kind of love it, right? Like, I know that basketball in its own right has become more of a threes league, right? You know, shoot more threes. I understand all of that, but it's just cool to be able to add an additional meta. It forces people to have to account for certain things. Make sure that, okay, I can be able to defend this if we kind of run into one. Lets you run different sorts of offensive sets, different sorts of plays. Just, it creates a little bit more nuance in 2K, which is, it's kind of a breath of fresh air. So I know some people might hate it, but like, as long as it's not super toxic, I think it'll be pretty fun to see. Up next, we have passing. With passing, I felt it was pretty solid. You definitely see the difference with players with a higher pass act compared to a lower pass act, with like speed and just the type of animations you get. You hope that people are making bigs with actual pass accuracy, because it really does open up the game a little bit more, allowing them to be able to create. I don't recommend trying to throw cross court passes or trying to force anything, just due to the way the lanes are. If somebody's in the lane, they'll get it. And so as long as they have thumbs, like, that's really what it is. And granted, we're just really looking at like my team gameplay here. This is more all-star team up, 3v3, 2v2. We haven't really seen how it will look in rec and pro-am and, you know, proving grounds, places that might have a bigger court size. But for these sort of smaller courts, it was definitely brutal. I'm gonna be completely honest. So you have to be very smart and very patient. However, if you are patient and you can read the floor, you'll be able to dot your teammates for pass backs, hit the open man, a bunch of little things like that. And that's really where I would say that the skill is really gonna come into play. And that's going to be the theme of this game. It's going to separate the good players from the bad players. So you really want to have to be on your A game. In terms of fast breaks, I definitely have to say the downhill speed after change of possession is highly noticeable, but I'm able to take the ball and kind of dribble it coast to coast. The thing that your guards don't want, hey Biggs, if you make a big like this, you can actually put the ball on the ground. It didn't feel super clunky. You're able to dribble with it, but you have to be able to, be smart. I'll definitely link creators like Sprague and others who are really good when it comes to just center builds and, dribbling as a big. So I'll definitely link them here. When it came to actually throwing the break though, I recognize that passes will sometimes float, just making them easier to steal when playing against higher skill players. So a lot of times I'm not trying to just hold a skip pass. I'm trying to icon the break to be able to just throw it up there. And granted, some of that is due to me kind of running first and then trying to push it because that kind of negates break starter. But even sometimes when I get the come down with the board and I try and throw it, sometimes the pass will trail a little bit. But what's crazy about it is that the other player is going to get the ball. I don't think I had one outlet pass that wound up going out of bounds. Every single time somebody was out in the break and I threw it, they wound up catching it. If it was right on the money, or even if it was like a slight long drag bobble or whatever it is, it never went out of bounds. So that's something that I want to test because that's a little weird. But also that sort of catch animation, that's scary because what's it going to be like throwing the break like that? It's just, are we going to be able to throw the break? Do we have to be able to slow it down? Are we going to have to bring the ball up? What's going on? Up next, we have screens. Screens are pretty impactful this year. I was setting some big bodies, some nice screens. But the key is it comes back to that skill thing, right? It's all about your position. You have to be able to position yourself correctly. Your body is parallel with the basket. You want to make sure that you're making connection with the defender to allow for that true screen animation. And what's great about this year is that new feature. I was having so much fun, kind of just running a little bit of 𝐅𝐸𝐥𝐸 screens, just being able to tech my screens a little bit more, having more control over the angle of where I want to set it without having to constantly let go and then reset the screen. It just felt a lot more controlled. I would be able to fake like I'm setting the screen towards the middle and then quickly spin it and flip it and set the screen towards the wing for my guard to be able to take the screen and be able to get an open look. You do have a lot more ability there. Even when it comes to ghost screens, being able to just look like you're going and then completely slipping, I think it gives you a lot more flexibility. You can still be able to Gortat screen your defender if you seal them in the paint, but we'll kind of talk about that seal and box out animation a little bit later in the video because that is very important. And then lastly with screens, you can still spot finder speed boost out of them. A lot of people might not know this, but when you see that your player's hand is kind of up in the air, that means that you're triggering the animation. So once you release your screen, you're gonna actually double tap turbo, which is gonna give you a slight spot finder animation, and it's gonna give you a slight boost, which can kind of get you a little bit of space, which can give you just enough space to be able to get hit on the roll or get positioned for the board when you're slipping to the basket. Another thing when it comes to screens and slipping and rolling is the pop. I'm gonna be real, I love the Dex animation that you get. It's not super fast, but it's smooth enough, and as a big, you get dragged a pretty decent amount, and it's a solid catch animation. It's not too crazy, so you can really be able to slip pop that. And I'm excited to be able to see this, in 2s, 3s, because you really can become a threat. You're not just gonna have to sit there on an inside the entire time and just have to be able to get the ball. Bigs will be able to do things, and of course, I'm most excited about seeing what bigs can be able to do in 5s. If you're rocking with us so far, please make sure you like and subscribe. We want to be able to make content like this for you all year long. Moving on to defense, I'm going to start with steals. Bigs can play lanes this year. I was playing against Dooms. He was playing on a Jokic build. It was him and Boom versus me and the general, and Dooms was getting some lanes. Every single time Gus would throw a pass, as long as Dooms is in the lane, he's able to time it. If it's not a tip pass, he's actually ripping the lane out the air. It's really all dependent on your steal rating. That's really what it looks like, and just your positioning. But bigs are able to do it, and that's great to see. Outside of those lane steals, it looks like blitz steals are going to be the easiest way to get steals at big. Because of course, as bigs, we probably don't want to be going for on-ball steals. If we're coming up and blitzing the guard as they're coming back our way, that's a great opportunity. And especially if you have enough steal, you'll be able to do it. I was able to do it on a couple different big builds. So like, especially if you're able to pinch them to a side, do things like that, it's going to be a lot easier for bigs to be able to do it, but you do have to have whatever the requirement is. But on the other side, if you do gamble and lose, you will be shit out of luck. It's bad. Some of these like reach, like turbo reach animations, things like that, you are getting flung out of the play. So you want to make sure that you're lining up the ball handler perfectly and taking the right pursuit angle, because if you're not in the right position, you will be burned and your teammates aren't going to be very happy. Defensively, when it comes to blocks, hands up in the paint are still very effective if you are in good position. That's a huge point with all of this. I'm going to keep stating it with so many other things. It's all about being in position. If you were right in front of your defender with the hands up, they're going to try and force some shots and they're not going to go in. Especially if you have the wingspan, if you have the ratings, everything like that, you are going to be solid. However, if you're jumping out of the play, if you're on their side, you're a little behind them, anything like that, there is a good opportunity that the shot might go in. So it's really all about you playing smart and doing what you need to do. Overall though, if you do have to jump, it seems pretty good. I got a good amount of blocks with the different centers that I played and centers I played against. It's really just you timing and making sure that you're going up with them. Even some where I might have jumped a little bit early, I was still able to, even those times I might have jumped a little bit early, as long as I was in good position, I would still be able to get a block or some sort of animation to be able to pull them out of it. And of course, adrenaline is back for bigs. So anytime you jump, anytime you reach, all of that matters. It all counts as an adrenaline bar. Even like, you know, when you're trying to like dex and do things like that, those will still count as adrenaline bars for bigs. So you definitely want to be smart and be cautious. You know, we can't wait to watch 2K2s and see some of the research that they were doing to get the true breakdown of how much you lose with adrenaline bars this year. When it comes to contests are still rough for bigs. It's kind of been the consensus of what I've been seeing. You will still have to jump to be able to even impact the shot. And even at times, that's still a toss-up. Like the contest system, you know, we're still kind of getting used to it a little bit, but you definitely need to be up in someone's face. Of course, bigs, we excel in the paint, in more of interior. So we are kind of exposed if left on that island. If you have to jump, just be smart about it. Don't get baited so you wind up giving up points. When it came to defensive movement, I didn't think it felt too bad either. I definitely felt a lot faster than last year. I was able to still sprint and hedge up when my teammate got beat and still be able to get back at times. I was able to play the perimeter for a little bit, and it really kind of boils down to not overutilizing your intense defense or not overutilizing your turbo. You kind of want to be able to just rely on the left stick and then turbo up when you need to, just like tapping intense defense to be able to reset yourself and align yourself with the ball or your arrows to be able to better that. We talked about the hands up contest a little bit more too, and we're going to start with this new green rebound mechanic. This has always been in the game. It's just we never had something to show that you had the perfect jump. So it's kind of cool to see. You kind of get to a point where you're playing, you barely even see the green flashing, but it can be a, you know, it was kind of dope to see in certain situations. One thing I want to be able to really like see more of, and I guess it's going to take just more data and just playing the game, is that if it gives you an actual boost. Because I'm going to be completely honest, you know, the memes that like, oh, like when I get like, you know, when they green their rebound and I get out rebounded by blah, blah, blah. I lost. I got out rebounded while playing on Wemby by Cheryl Swoops. She had me boxed out. I was trying to worm her. And just in that instant, she was able to green the rebound before I was even able to finish my worm animation. And she took the rebound right from me. So that's also something to really talk about right there. Boxing out is going to be extremely important. Because if you're someone who's trying to be able to get that board, you want to be able to stop the offensive player, whoever it is, from being able to get that. And boxing out is going to be your best friend when it comes to trying to get that rebound. The biggest gripe I have about boxing out though is sometimes like I feel like I'm trying to get under, I'm trying to box them out, but I'm not able to get that sort of latch on animation where I'm able to completely box them out. And it's honestly, it's frustrating. So like, definitely check your settings. There should be a box out assists setting. That's something we might need to really be able to work with to be able to see what's the best box out setting in order to be able to get that. But another thing that kind of goes with it, is that your angles to the rim and your positioning are going to have to be immaculate if you're trying to be able to win the rebound count all the time. You're not going to be able to get away with just kind of getting towards their side and trying to cheat it and fight over as much, because there's some times where the rebound might go the opposite way and you're kind of screwed. You might get one here and there, but from what I've seen, you really want to be able to anticipate, and this is kind of where that skill gap goes, is recognizing, okay, what angle can I take in order to be able to get this box out or to be able to get this rebound. And also, it's a team game, so like, it's something where you got to just tell your teammates to be like, yo, I need you to help me box out so I can be able to get this board. So it's something that you definitely want to communicate, and that's due to this point right here, because turbo jumps are back. Yo, I was having a ball with these, just especially if somebody is not boxing me out or trying to meet me high while I'm crashing for a board. I am flying, I am skying, I am snatching the ball out of the air. It's some great animations, especially with Wemby. It just made it look effortless. I was able to get a lot of clutch rebounds for our team and be able to get us second chance points or be able to kill second chance opportunities. So definitely want to rely on turbo jumping, and you can still green turbo jumps, which is like, it's honestly a great feeling when you're able to do something like that, and especially in high pressure moments. So it just gives us something, bigs to be able to look at. When it comes to motion styles, I mean, Wemby seemed decent. When it comes to motion styles, Wemby seemed decent. I can't really like speak too much on it. Wilt was, Wilt's Wilt, but like, that's just due to speed. What I recommend is going to NBA 2K Labs. Of course, they test all kinds of motion styles as well as jump shots. So that's really the place to go. I'm just going to be completely honest. You can be able to see exactly what the best motion styles are for bigs, as well as be able to help find a jump shot for you. You can also use our code 2KFR for 20% off your first month subscription. Now's the time to be able to get it. Tell them that your friends at 2KFR sent you. There you have it, the first big man gameplay video for NBA 2K26. Let us know your thoughts in the comments, and let us know what else you want to see next, because of course we have a lot of things going on, and you definitely want to be tuned in today, tomorrow, and every single day leading up to the release of NBA 2K26, because we have a lot of gems getting ready to drop for you, including the whole animation glossary tomorrow. So I know people want to see that, as well as the new badge requirements. But if you want to check out more content like this, you can be able to click the link on the screen here.